Toronto. A lot of construction going on. Yeah. That little church by Bloor and University there, what are they doing with it? There used to be a great restaurant right next to it. Is it still there? You guys don't know that. Anyway, I am just delighted to be back in Toronto. I'm telling you, every time I come here and the sun is shining, I'm amazed. Because of the years I lived here, the best thing about Toronto was the road to Montreal. And I'm from Montreal. There are 17 people from Montreal here. And did anybody go to McGill? 3 people from McGill. Anybody go to the Students' Union at McGill? 5 people from the Students' Union. What's the name of the building in the Students' Union? It's the Shatner Building. Honest to God, they named a building after me. I used to write and produce and act and direct all the university musicals, the McGill Red, White, and Blues, we called them then. I don't know what they're calling them now. And there was in this old Students' Union building, there was a staircase down to the basement. And under the staircase was the office to the Red, White, and Blue. So I was a young, vital, hormonal university student with a little office under a staircase. Can you imagine what went on? What are you two guys doing here? Standing there looking at me, glowering. What is that?
We can just leave you to it if you
like. No. So anyway, what went on in that office, I can't even begin to tell you. But those musicals were really good. So here I am, a Canadian who went from Stratford to the United States. Are we applauding United States or Stratford? So I went down there and got onto some shows, and I did one show after another, and it all worked out. So here I am back again. But when I was in Los Angeles, struggling to find work, I used to think I could always come back to Toronto. Well, here I am. I'm here I'm going to be in front of you for a brief while, so I'll just ramble on for a few minutes, tell you some amusing things that have happened to me recently, and then I'll go to some questions, and then I'll ramble on, perhaps less amusingly. The first thing I can think of is total Canadiana. Is I was in the closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics. So I'm sure most of us here are Canadians, and so I can talk disparagingly of Canada, and we'll all know what I'm talking about. So when that thing in the opening ceremonies didn't come up, I thought, oh Lord, no, not Canada. Gee whiz. You know, the Chinese had spent $40 billion on their Olympics, and they had 10,000 soldiers beating on drums. And I remember when they came to me and said, we would like you to be in the closing ceremonies, I kept asking the guys who would be responsible for the opening and closing ceremonies, what are you going to do to top $40 billion? I mean, Canada doesn't make $40 billion as the entire gross national product. And they spent that on the Olympics. What are we going to do? And they said, imagination. Hey, you can't beat imagination. You can't buy imagination. So now those pylons have to come up. Am I talking to the choir here? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. So 3 pylons come up, and the 4th pylon doesn't come up. And I see Wayne Gretzky, and I recognize the little beads of sweat on his head. In acting terms, that's called flop sweat. Because I now know that he had an earpiece, and there was somebody in his ear saying, not now, Wayne, not yet, Wayne, wait, it's gonna go up, Wayne. It sounded like it needed a Viagra or something. Wait, Wayne, it'll come up in a second. And for 2.5 minutes, Wayne Gretzky waited to light the torch, and finally they decided it's not going to go up. First time it had a glitch. They must have tried it, I'm told now, 30, 40 times. It worked every time. But of course, on the air, so it didn't work. Now, that was horrible. I don't know about you guys, but I just shrank. Now it's the closing ceremonies. I'm in Vancouver, and I'm watching what, they won't tell anybody what they're going to do. So I'm watching. They built a stage higher than this in that arena, 10 feet, so you could walk underneath. So there was traffic going underneath the stage, and there were lifts going up and down on the stage. And there was all these people in that huge amphitheater, and then 4 billion people watching, okay? So I'm watching on a television monitor, and I see the mime, I guess from a Cirque du Soleil, come in and pretend to lift the 4th pylon, which goes up. And I think, of course, that's Canada. Imagination. They planned the whole damn thing. It was great. Except I knew they hadn't planned it. So now I'm in this thing underneath, this bottom floor. There's this 10-foot ceiling, and I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I've got the ear thing in my ear, and Neil Young goes up the lift, and he plays a song, great song, and everybody loves it. Now he descends, and I hear, and I've been in rehearsal, so I've had a number of words to say, and I've rehearsed it a couple of times. But everybody's made me aware that there are 60,000 people in the arena, and 4 billion people watching. And what you don't want to do is forget the words. You don't want to forget the words. There's really 60,000 people and 4 billion people watching. So what they do to prevent it is they put up a teleprompter on the little platform that I'm going up. So I hear the guy say, put Shatner on the platform. So I get on the platform. The platform's a little bigger than this, and the teleprompter's right here. And I see a guy go like this. 4 billion people! What's wrong with the teleprompter? The pylon didn't go up! What's wrong with the teleprompter? Put Shatner on the thing. I'm getting on the thing, and the guy is pounding on this thing, and finally the lift is going up, and I hear him go, it works! I go up. I didn't need the teleprompter, but boy, I'll tell you, that was one terrible moment in Canada. There's a fun story apropos of that. So they came down to Los Angeles, the people who were running the show, and they said, here's the closing ceremony, here's what we'd like you to do. And I said, fine. And they said, you know, there's no money involved. I said, no, it's not good. They said, well, we'll pay some of your expenses. So I said, well, I'd like to bring some of my family. They said, fine. So I brought 13 members of my family. So my daughters, their husbands, the children, everything. And we're in this hotel, and we would gather every meal around this large table, 13 members of my immediate family. So some guy sidles up to me in rehearsal, and he says, you know, Bill, we have 4 tickets to the hockey game. And you know, and I had read this in the paper, in the Vancouver paper, they're going for $40,000 apiece. And we have 4 tickets for you. And that's because we love you. And you came up here and you're giving us your time, and you brought 13 members of your family. But we have 4 tickets for you. So I said, oh, that's great, 4 tickets to the game. I mean, 4 times 40, what's that again? Yeah. So now I'm sitting at this table of 13. I got 3 sons-in-laws, and 2 older grandchildren, boys, who are athletes. And I say, look, I've got 4 tickets. There's 13 of us, and none, so that means only 4 of us can go. So my wife and I are going. Elizabeth and I are going. That leaves 2 tickets. So this is not a democracy. This is a patriarchy. And I am assigning these 2 tickets to son-in-law Joel and son-in-law Andrew, and that's the way it is. I'm sorry, folks, but these 2 guys are interested in hockey, and Elizabeth and I have to have the experience, and the girls don't care, and the grandchildren are too small, and so that's the way it is. Okay, and everybody goes, okay. And my oldest daughter, who is the mother of the 2 older grandchildren, boys, sidles up to me and says, you know, Grant and Eric would really like